Every journey begins with a first step, no matter the season of life we face. Today, join us as the Rubies encourage you along life's journey, regardless of who you are, where you've been, or where you plan to go. With God's help, we are reminded that she is far above rubies. Join us on this journey today.
Hi and good evening to everyone. It's so lovely to see all of these faces. Hi Marissa, or hi Em. Hi Ariel. Hi all of those who are listening to us. We thank you so much for being a part of what's happening. Of course, we've been talking all, I want to say 3 weeks now about purpose, 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 purpose. What is it? How do I walk in it? How do I not waste my time here on earth? How do I fulfill what God has called me to? So, we've been talking a lot about do you know your purpose? Are you walking in your purpose? And I know personally that's something big to think about because you sometimes you want to fit in, you don't want to stand out, you want to blend in, and you just want to be like everybody else. But sometimes your purpose might call you to be a little bit different, might call you to be separated from those persons that you might want to, hang with. Today we're looking at walking in your purpose, and we have our guest here with us, Ari. Thank you for joining us. She's gonna talk a bit, but before we even get to all of that, we got to do a little sort of housekeeping and get things right. I wanted to share something with you. I remember when I was in my teens, and this group from YWAM came to our church, Youth with a Mission, came to our church, and they were talking about, how do teens find their purpose? And one of the young ladies there left a book with me. I can't find my book, so if you're listening and you still have my book, return it to sender. But I have my Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, and I'm one of those people that would start reading and then stop. I don't know if you all do that too, guys. I would start reading a book and then come back to it. And so there's a whole set of books that are half read in my house. But in his book, he talks about purpose and how do you fulfill it. And I wanted to draw your attention to something. He says, you cannot fulfill God's purpose for your life while focusing on your own plans. And then he says, without God, life has no purpose. And without purpose, life has no meaning. Without meaning, life has no significance. So it kind of, I don't know if you guys want to chime in there, but it kind of brings it all into focus, what is purpose and what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, that's important. Purpose. Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much, Yolanda, as she raised that interesting question about purpose. I don't care how old you are. You could be probably a teenager choosing your subjects in class about a school about what are you going to study. So if you want to study rocks, you definitely would go for geography. If you want to work in hotel, you would choose something with hospitality. Purpose. It all starts with the choices you make, and your purpose often is not always about you, but it's often about others that you will impact. And I think we need to understand that first. Sometimes some people are waiting on you, so hurry up, get in position, people, get in position and impact the world. I believe it's important for us to impact the world regardless of wherever we are, whatever we're doing, impact. And I'm big about impact. So good evening to all of you joining us on the How We Rubies. For those of you joining us and wondering who we are the youth arm. We're now budding like a nice little seed that has been planted coming up. And we are the youth arm of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies, the Barbados District, the youth arm. So all of you young people, join on with us. Let us know that you're with us. Say hello. And, wherever you are listening from, whether you're in St. John, whether you are in...
St. Philip. Come on now. St. Philip.
All right. We got St. Philip. Whether you're in St. Joseph, whether you're in St. Michael, whether you are even in across the world in Montreal, right? Good evening to you joining us. And I must shout out our special guest this evening, her dad and her mom. Pastor Fitzpatrick. Good evening to you, and also good evening to Mom Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Good evening to you, and to all of you who are with us this evening. As we get started, we want to welcome you officially, and also say to you, like our video, share our video. I always say we are birthing, and we like to share a lot of nonsense. I say that very good. We share a lot of stuff that just sometimes goes like, really? But we want you to share this evening. Like it and share it. This is some positive reinforcement for all of you. So welcome to the Powie Rubies again. We've been saying a lot, and we have our special guest this evening. She is one of the leading influencers. Can I say that? On TikTok. Positive influencers. Her name is Ariel Fitzpatrick, a young lady, hails from Quebec, Montreal, Quebec. And you learn French, a bit of French. Yes.
I understand it pretty well, but I don't like speaking it.
So she's here with us this evening, and we're going to be chatting with her. To all of you missing this evening, I must say, is our other two members of the Powie Rubies. We have Sharice Burkett missing, and Jamal Clark, who I know is saying, "I wish I could be on with us with you guys this evening." They're missing this evening, but nevertheless, they'll be on. They're with us, supporting us. So again, as I was sharing with you, sorry about that. Ariel, young lady, one of the leading influencers on TikTok with 1.7 million followers now. Is that it? 1.7 now? Because I thought I saw 1.4 when I checked, but I saw 1.7. Talk about influence. Talk about influence. So that's a big thing, Ariel. When you think about that, 1.7 million followers across the world. That's not only where you are, but across the world. So let's get to know you a bit. Who is Ariel?
Who is Ariel? Well, like you said, I'm a girl. I'm just honestly a girl from Montreal. A pastor's kid. As you mentioned, my parents, Pastor Apostle Earl Fitzpatrick, and my mom, Prophetess Cheryl. And yeah, I grew up in Montreal, and church was basically my life. All of my childhood. My sister and I would always say like we were more in church than we were in our own house and like in our own home. So it was like
We identify.
yeah, that was literally it. Like we knew the church building more than we knew our own house kind of thing. So yeah, it was always that's just like my brought up. See, I love music. I love to sing. I love to create. I love videos. I love social media. I like those kind of things. I love editing. I'm into like it's mostly like music and creation. I just love creating stuff. Like that's who I am. And I'm a big family girl. I love my parents and my siblings. I always say my siblings are like my best friends. Um, got two sisters, two brothers, so it's a nice balance. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't want to yabber on too much, but that's generally that's generally me.
All right. So that's interesting. Nice balance. You grew up in a Christian home. So clearly the foundation was set. The foundation was set. Good evening to you, Cheryl. To all of you who are with us, join us. Just send us some love. Let us know where you're listening. And I know a lot of you are fans of Ariel. Let me just say this. I never thought that I'd see so many adults share TikTok videos on my timeline. I know we see TikTok, but I'm amazed at the amount of people that that follow you and the influence you have. You said you love social media. Let's talk about that, because we often hear that social media can be a devil, but we also know there's a positive of it. My question is this: was it easy for your parents to let you get started with social media, or did you do it with them knowing, or did you do it privately?
Well, the very first time I got into social media, when we were younger, we were not allowed any social media. So no Facebook, no Instagram, whatever. So for most of my life, like my entire high school life, I didn't have social media. I remember the first time I snuck, I made a little Facebook page. I didn't tell them about it, but like I didn't really do anything much. So all in high school, when everyone was on social media, on Twitter, Vine, all that stuff, I had none of it. The only thing I used to really watch was YouTube. So eventually in 2016, that's when I decided. I remember I was in college and I was so stressed out, and I hated my program. I was so upset. I was tired. And I remember going into my next semester, I was just like, okay, I need I was like, I need something that's gonna bring me some kind of joy, and I always wanted to do a YouTube channel. So yeah, I did a YouTube channel. We didn't tell. I asked my sister to do it with me because I was so nervous. We didn't tell our parents, but eventually, I can't remember how. I think they saw us making videos and they eventually found out about it. And they're like, okay, all right. My mom was cool, but you know, my dad was a little skeptical. He was like, social media. You know, like everyone was kind of like iffy around it because we heard of so many bad stories of social media. So, but I really got into it. Like I really started to love it more and more and more because I always loved video creation. And I think maybe the one that was like the biggest surprise that they had, or the biggest pill to swallow, was probably when I told them like, yeah, I'm quitting school and I'm gonna do social media. I know I probably terrified them for the first few months or whatever, but I think as time went on and I really they saw that I was serious and I wasn't just being like, you know, just being lazy with it and whatever, and that I sincerely loved it. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, we see what you're doing. And now they support me. Like my mom was like always supporting my videos. She's like, she makes sure to watch my videos and everything. So I really appreciate that. But it was like a transition to like help everybody kind of understand why is Ariel going on social media kind of thing.
So this is my next question. Mom, dad didn't know you took this thing seriously. Let's talk about taking it seriously, because you had to find some form of purpose in it that you decided this was the way that I was going to go. So let's talk about that. You know, purpose, taking it seriously. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking to myself, how did you, well, not how did you, but share with us how you made the connection from, to a desire and a passion and making this thing and being purposeful about it. Because, we talk a lot about purpose and we talk a lot about drive, and how do you marry the two? So you said you love video creation and you love to sing, you love music. How did you know to marry the two? That was my question. How did you go about doing it?
That's a good question. Honestly, I must say the process was very, very hard and very stressful, and I was scared a lot of the times. But all I knew was, even in the beginning, I didn't understand I didn't know the purpose of it all. I couldn't even make that connection. I understood that purpose was extremely important, and it's all that I wanted, but I really didn't know what my purpose was. I couldn't make the connection. I heard all the sermons, all the stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what my purpose is. All I knew was I was in school and I was very unhappy. And it wasn't just unhappy because the subject was hard. I always love a challenge. So it's not like, school's hard. It was really like I was going every day. I remember at one point I was like, every time I went to class, I would sometimes I'd be sitting down in class and I'd just involuntarily just start crying because I knew I'm like, inside of me was just like, I'm not supposed to be here. That's all I knew. And the connection that I could have made with social media was the only thing that made me feel in my element. Like I felt like, I didn't understand fully what I needed to do. Because honestly, with YouTube, when I just started YouTube, I wasn't doing anything close to what I'm doing now with TikTok. I started doing hair tutorials.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, which I stopped doing, honestly, because after a while, the exact thing, I was doing hair tutorials for about a year or 2 years on YouTube. And I prayed to God and I asked him to help me make it a success, because I was like, I need something, to work. Long story short, God came through for me and my YouTube channel did pretty well. But then after a while, I was doing these hair tutorials and I was becoming miserable again. And I was just like, I know I love YouTube. I know I love this content creation, but I'm like, I think I was even telling my parents and some of my friends, I'm like, I have more. I'm like, there's something more I need to do. And I couldn't figure out what to do. And it was driving me literally insane to the point where I stopped posting on YouTube. Like I stopped posting. I was very inconsistent, which was bad because I'm like, that's like the worst thing you could do on social media. But I'm like, I need to do more. And it's like, it's crazy because I really believe God puts something inside of each of us that helps drive us when we're getting a little too comfortable in a place where we're not supposed to be. So I was getting, I guess, too comfortable with the YouTube, and like, I guess God was like pushing me to show me like there's more to this. And I always said, I'm like, I have a little personality. Like I want to show it off. I'm mad shy in public. Like if people meet me, they think
really,
like, yeah, I'm very, very quiet.
No one believes you in this group. No one listening to this. I'm sure the comments are what? No one believes you.
I know, but I'm actually, everyone who knows me from kids to like now, they know I'm very shy. Like I'm I'm better now. I'm more like talkative, but in front of the camera, I have no timidity at all.
But
So
I was gonna say, Marissa, is interesting that she said, you know, God was moving her from a place of comfort, because there was a post that we shared early this week that Tony Evans says. He says your purpose, following your purpose, is not about you. It's about the impact that you can make and how you can, you know, help others. And I thought to myself, you know, sometimes we get comfortable. I saw Crystal J share this thing that said, you know, our God gives us gifts to fulfill our purpose. And as a teenager, I think that there's a difference between gifting and walking in your purpose and those type of things. But sometimes if you can start with, because Ariel said she started with her love for videos and her love for creating. Sometimes if we can, you know, hone in on what it is we love, what is the thing that we're good at. That's what you're getting at, right, Ariel? What is the, you know, so it's not a chore, and even when it becomes hard, you just stick your feet in and just don't accept no and just keep going and keep going and keep going, because it's gonna get hard. It's gonna get hard.
And talking about getting hard, because you said you started, you felt, you know, like what was the purpose, and so forth. So my question is this. Content. Because if you said you started with videos, hair videos, and then now content, point that you said you had a little personality and you wanted to bring it out. Let's talk about that transition from there, being frustrated, not posting, to coming to this point where you kindly found your voice, if I can say that. Yeah, let's talk about that.
I can remember it like it was yesterday. So basically, I was right here in my room, and I was so upset. I was so frustrated. And at this point, I literally just stopped posting on YouTube, and I was just kind of lost in it all. And I went on my knees, and I was praying, but it was like this kind of prayer. I was really just talking to God, and I was just letting out my frustration. I was like, God, this ain't it. I'm like, this is not it. I'm like, I need you to make this clear to me now, because at this point, I'm not living life like this. I'm not going to live not knowing my purpose. And I was literally using the word purpose, which is cool. So I'm like, God, you need to like help me out. So I was probably on the ground for like maybe an hour or two, just talking to God. And then I said, okay, here's the thing. Because I started hearing about TikTok, and I was very judgmental of TikTok at first. I'm like, that's for kids. I'm like, that's for dancers, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's not for me. So even during the first wave of the coronavirus, and we were locked in the house, everyone was getting on TikTok, and I was like, it's not for me. But something was like telling me, I remembered something that I said years ago. And I said, the next big thing that comes out, I said, I'm jumping on it in the beginning. I'm not waiting, because I felt like I waited too long with YouTube. I should have jumped on in the beginning. So it's not too late for anyone who wants to start YouTube, by the way. Anyway, so I was like, I'm going to jump on TikTok. But I said, God, here's the thing. I don't know what I'm going to create. All I know is I'm not doing no hair tutorials. I ain't doing nothing with hair. I ain't doing nothing with beauty.
This is the conversation she's having with God.
Literally, like I'm telling y'all, this is the conversation. It was a very long conversation. I'm like shortening it. So I said, I'm going to jump on TikTok. It's new. I said, if you don't want me to do this, I'm asking you to take the desire completely out of my heart, or just make it flop. But I said, if this is going to help me in any kind of way, and I couldn't even figure out what way, I was just like, just bless it. So I made a goal. I said, okay, I'm making a deal with you. I said, I'm going to start. This was in November of last year, so a few months ago, almost a year ago. So I said, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to make a schedule. I have no idea what I'm going to create, but I'm just asking you to bless it. And if you bless it, I said, somehow I'm going to figure out to give you glory. That's all I know. So I left it at that. I made my plan like I promised him. I did research on TikTok. I researched it for like hours upon hours upon hours to see what to create. And I just started creating videos. Not God videos, just general videos. And long story short, I did one video that had to do with God. That was my most successful video. So I was like, okay. But it wasn't intentional. I just did it because I found it hilarious. So
Is it the kidnapped woman? I love her, by the way.
No. That was one of my early. That's like my first ever video with God. It's like you probably never seen it. It's really back there. And it wasn't even my own sound. It was someone else's sound, and I just like reenacted it. And it did pretty well. So I was like, okay. But I kept going. And then just as I kept making my videos, I started doing content I recognize my kid. I want to make relatable stuff, whatever's relatable. So for me, church is just, it's natural. Like God is natural. It's not like something I forced. So when contact ended up being about God, and then it just ended up being my niche. It was not intentional. I had zero intention of making God content on TikTok, but it just went in that direction. And I set a goal that, to me, I thought the goal was unrealistic. So I was like, this is good. I said, I'm going to get 100,000 followers in 1 month. Sounds ridiculous, but I was like, I'm going to do it. And I was asking God to help me. And I literally hit 100,000 before the full month in like 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to keep rolling with this. And that's how it got started. Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. And I like the fact you said you were disciplined.
Yes. And she was consistent. She stuck to her plan. She put in, listen, creating content is not easy. You can get listen.
That's why you have so many jobs now for content creators and digital managers, because when you understand that every day it is. Now, I am not on TikTok, but I know.
But you watch the videos.
But I watch the videos. But I'll tell you this. The thing about it is that, now I'm not on TikTok. I use my daughter's account.
Parents, don't do what she's doing. Get on TikTok, man.
But what I'm saying is that content, you have to be disciplined about what you're doing. And as you said, and I want to stick a pin right here, because very often we forget that because we are believers, that we must still add some form of discipline in our Christian walk, however you spend time with God. But you have to also be disciplined in everything that God gives you. And I believe that everything that God gives us must be managed. I'm a strong proponent of that. Every time God gives you something, it must be managed, and managed well. We are disciplined about other things. We sit and we plan and we execute those plans for other things. But when it comes to the things of God, we kind of get haphazard with it. If it happens, and if it doesn't happen, and that laziness comes forth. Now, I have the Unifying Channel, family channel. We had it as We Are Family, and then I recognized that the name to birth change, it was Unifying Family. And your mom Cheryl is always on my show. Big shout out to Mom Cheryl and Dad, Apostle ARIEL FITZ-PATRIck, who are always guests on my show. And one of the things I've learned is that to be consistent with what you have to rely on God for it. It's not going to come naturally. That thing can, but to be consistent and to be excellent at it, you're going to need your reliance on God. And I believe that. Now, you talk about creating God content and finding your niche. You set a goal. You wanted to reach 100,000 by a certain time. What then went into planning that content to keep your followers? Because that's key. You can plan, you can execute, but your content has got to reach its mark. Let's talk about that, because I actually want to show, by Yolanda's request, one of your videos.
I just love her. Because I think there was this thing that there was this version of theater that they taught us at NCF when they did the theater program there. It's called edutainment. And I believe in church sometimes we are too serious, man. Listen, it ain't that serious, and just smile a little bit, relax your face a little bit. And I feel sometimes we take God's word and we make it a burden to some people. Yes, there ain't nothing wrong with being cute with yourself. Just don't think that you're above God. There ain't nothing wrong with smiling a little bit and saying a little hallelujah and doing a little jig and a little dance. Sometimes we take it too serious. And when we take it so serious and make it such a burden, we then run persons whose personality are too, I just raised my hand, are bigger than life. We don't want to sit down and keep quiet. We want to be involved. And that's what I like about what you're doing, Ariel. I like that you hear the word. The last video I saw was vengeance is mine, that scripture. Thus saith the Lord, I will repay you. And I mean, it's not that you're forcing it down someone's throat, but you're spreading the word in a creative manner, in a manner that, persons can relate. Because yes, I'm a Christian, I'm Holy Ghost filled and all that, but is there somebody that's kind of on my toes at work that's make me just want, call the Lord and say, Lord, deal with that person. I can't do it anymore. So that's what I love about what you're doing, and that's why I wanted to encourage other young persons. Your niche might be, understanding how to make recipes and how to make ingredients blend. There's a big market for food. There's a big market, as Marissa was saying, for content and understanding how social media platforms work. There's a big market for arts and using the gifts that the Lord has blessed you with. You're good at movement and understanding lyrics, and you can see things. There's nothing wrong with applying what God has blessed you with, that gift, and zone it in. Just like Ariel did, zone it. Lord, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is what you're telling me to do. No, and go from there.
And how am I going to get it done? So I want to share one. Yeah, I actually want to share one of the videos now. This one by special request, and for those of you who are with us, I'm sharing some of our videos in our show this evening. Today, our special guest, Ariel Fitz-Patrick, a Christian girl on TikTok, 1.7 million followers and growing. Yes. So here's one of her videos.
And they were all like, oh, Jesus, you can't heal on the Sabbath. What you mean he can't heal on the Sabbath? Think about it. Jesus is just supposed to be walking around with all these superpowers and can't help nobody just because it's a Saturday? Make it make sense, people. That's why Jesus had to put them in their place. Jesus had a little bit of attitude. I think that's where I get my attitude from. That's how we get along so good. Do you know Jesus? I could lead you to him. Just bow your head. Y'all don't want to bow your heads? Well, that's too bad. There's a lake right over there. We could have baptized y'all and everything. You wouldn't even know it hit you. I need to pee. It's kind of quiet in here. Y'all listen to gospel music? That choir music? Ooh, child. Riches. You gotta move your jaw with it, like that's how you know it's anointed. I really love my worship music too. Ooh, break every chain, break every chain. Speaking of breaking chains, y'all think we could take these off? I still need to pee. I heard you mentioning that you were thirsty. I can introduce you to someone that once you drink their water, you will never thirst again. His name is Jesus. Oh, y'all letting me out? We should do this again. I can't do Sundays though. I got church. God bless you.
Let me just say, right? I would have put you out too.
You word them out. You see, she was ready to baptize them. I'm gonna baptize you. You want to drink that water?
This actually, I must say this, Ariel. This gentleman, Lester Eiffel, he actually shares a lot of your videos. He said, look, he's right here. He says that's my favorite TikToker. So you can shout him out, Ariel.
Oh, shout out to you, Lester. Thank you so much for your support.
and actually right now, look what her dad says. What I take 60 minutes to preach, Ariel takes 6 seconds to, communicate. I like that. I love that. So I like what you're doing. As you said, the content, and as much as you said, it's hilarious, but you get your point across. Is that the personality that's coming out, Ariel, that you're talking about? Is that the personality?
I didn't know at the time that was the personality. Like, I had listen, if anyone told me 2 years ago or even just last year that I would be doing comedy videos, I'd be shocked out of my head. I never see myself as funny. Honestly, I just knew like I have a person, like I just want to say stuff, like do stuff. But I never considered myself like funny or like to do comedy at all. So to say like this is what I was expecting, no, it wasn't, not at all. But I'm happy the way the turn it took.
Yeah. I want to ask you this next question. Now you talk about comedy, but there's more to Ariel than just comedy. You are actually a singer. We just heard you said, the jaw.
Yeah.
Yes, she was doing some vocal exercises for the kidnappers.
Well, she doesn't matter, people. Yeah. So let's talk about that journey, singing. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, like singing is like really, I don't know what to call it.
Let me just stop you there. The fact that you were actually in the church more than you were at home meant that you had to know to sing, because come on. Yeah. If you had siblings, the siblings better be able to lead worship at church. I'm just saying.
It's really that. Like every time someone asks, like, "Oh, when did you guys start singing? How did you start singing?" Like it's just like when you grow up in church, you have no choice but to sing. It's not like you have a choice. You see children getting up on the pulpit with their face sulky sometimes because their parents told them get up there and sing. Like, but I think it's great because at the end of it, a lot of us, I think, if not most of us, like we really end up getting into music, or even if it's sound engineering or something. Like all of us end up some way like actually using that in the future. For me, it was singing. For my brothers, it's music. So it's like it's well, actually playing instruments, I should say. But yeah, that's where it really started. So singing with my sister, that was always like it was an escape as well. Like during school times were the hardest times, of being able to sing and like be around musicians, that was always like a huge passion of mine, and it still is. So yeah, music is very, very, very important to me.
Let's
And
talk about your song.
yeah. I have first, like right now that's released, I have a song that I worked with a music company called MTRSS, and it's called Your Love. So that's out now. But for my own, like my first ever single, it's gonna be coming out this month really, really soon. I'll be announcing it on my Instagram and my Facebook, so y'all will see it when it comes out. But yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, so Lester, your question has been answered. What's the next move forward? She's working on some music and so forth. So, we're coming to the end because I really don't want us to, we're enjoying ourselves. But before we go, Yolanda, is there anything else you want to share? Because I've got another video to share with everyone this evening.
Well, I just wanted to encourage all of those that are listening. I know the idea of dealing with purpose and being targeted or being specific with your time can be a little bit overwhelming. You might not know where to start, but as I said earlier, I want to shout out to Crystal J. Paul. I loved what she posted. They said, start with your gift. Your gift will give you direction. The thing that God has placed in your heart. And it's not going to be a cookie copy version of somebody else. So Marissa, yours gift might be different to mine. And mine might be different to yours. And the thing is, if you find what you're good at, I would say, like Ariel said earlier, she researched TikTok. I would say put in the work. If it is that you want to sing, listen, I've been to voice training where you sing for where all you do is vocal exercises for 2 hours and you sing nothing. So you gotta put in the work. So whatever it is that is the gift that the Lord has blessed you with, put in the work, do the research, and see where it leads you. Look at Ariel as an example. It's opened other doors for other giftings that the Lord has blessed her with. So it's never too late. And you don't have to be a carbon copy. We're all rubies. We're special. We're unique. We're different. So yeah, go walk in your purpose. Don't be sticking up and waiting.
I like that. As before we go, I'm going to share one more video, and maybe I can put Ariel on the spot to sing one of her favorites. Before you go, Ariel, what's one of your favorite videos?
Songs?
Because I saw you and your brother. Yeah, before you sing your song, your brother. I saw one with you and your brother, and where your brother was creating one with you, and you were in the bedroom when it looked as if you were afraid, and you start.
Yeah, okay.
She can't get the words out, y'all.
Because she was there. I found it so hilarious because I'm saying, isn't it amazing that when you were so young and the lights go off, you see something, a shape in the room, and your imagination just goes so far left. When it's just your towel, or maybe just the lamp, And I'm just saying, this is so real. This is so real. So Ariel, any of them, it's been one of your most joyous to create?
Yes. Oh wow. There's a few. Definitely the kidnapped one is one of my favorites. I had so much fun making that. I was by myself and I was laughing. I had a lot of fun making that one. There was one that I really enjoyed that I made recently. It was like the Last Supper with Jesus, like how I imagined it to be, how it would have been. I really enjoyed that one. And there's one I did with Lot, like the story of Lot.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Bible story ones because it's like it reminds me of when my dad used to tell me and my siblings Bible stories at night, and that was like our favorite thing ever. And anytime he'd be like, "No, not tonight," we would literally beg him like, "Daddy, please." And my dad, y'all think I'm a good storyteller? Y'all should ask my dad to tell a Bible story. He like animated it and all that stuff. So like that's why I think like doing the Bible story TikToks are kind of my favorite. But yeah, I can't. Those are my favorite right now from what I could think of.
Yeah. I was actually trying to find get your last one downloaded. I really was trying to get that last one to share with us.
Oh, you mean
The
the Kelly
one
D receptionist?
with the Judas. I
Judas.
found
Oh,
that so hilarious. And I must say this, the ability to be able to navigate yourself and still, keep in character, playing different characters. What is that like, Ariel? Because for me, I probably would start to burst out laughing and wouldn't get, too far. But what's it like keeping in character whilst playing other characters?
It's fun. Like honestly, sometimes I mess up a lot of the times. Y'all just won't see it in the final cut, but I've always enjoyed acting, like doing church plays and stuff. So it feels normal, it feels natural, and it feels really really fun. I like switching it up, and usually it's mostly on the spot. I come up with like the script, so I'm like, oh, that would be a good idea, and I'll just do it randomly. So yeah, it's fun. It's really really fun.
I wonder if we gave you any ideas this evening. But before you go, Ariel, let's talk about one of your favorite songs. Let's sing maybe one of you talk because you sing other songs, you sing covers. But what about yours? Some of the stuff that you've been working behind the scenes that we have not heard yet. Let's talk about that and that writing process. And also maybe we can put you on the spot and have you sing something for us.
Okay. Um, well, my favorite songs, I listen to like every kind of genre in gospel. So like my playlist is, I got gospel rap, I got gospel reggae, soca, R&B, like all that's inside. But especially recently, I really noticed all I'm really listening to is like worship songs. I really really love worship music. Um, and one of like my favorite songs I'm playing almost every day now is I don't know if you know, it's called Gyra by Maverick City
Hmm.
and Ellen. Yeah, I love that song. And the classic one I've been singing all week too is Alpha and Omega by Israel. I love that. I love that song. It just brings like a lot of peace. I guess because there's like a lot of craziness going
Going
on
on.
right now. So I think anytime craziness starts happening, it's just nice to,
yeah, a little bit of peace.
yeah,
A little
it
bit
brings,
calm.
yeah, it does. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So we're gonna put you on the spot. Sing one of your creations, one of your original pieces. Sing something for us.
Okay, I'll sing you a piece of what what's gonna be released this month. It's called Something Special. And okay, yeah. Whew, I better not mess this up. Okay. You make me happy inside. I feel it deep in my heart. You make me smile so wide. I laugh until my cheeks hurt. You call me precious and kind. You look at me and say you're mine. When I think about it, I can't deny. I get all choked up. I started too high, so I'm not gonna go to the chorus, but that's the verse. That's the verse of the song that I wrote last year, and it's gonna be released this month. Released this
I
month.
like that. I like that. Well, you know what, Ariel, we're getting ready to say goodbye, but I really just want to say to you, continue to walk as God would lead. I think that God is sometimes causing us to think outside of the box and to not. I think sometimes we forget that God is a creative. I don't know. I'm a creative. I love fashion. I love um I love the fact that people can express themselves, and I love music. I've spent my last 20 years in as a radio broadcaster. And one of the things that I've said to people is that we forget that God is a creative.
That's
He
right.
gives us creativity to create music. That's why we have soca, that's why we have reggae, that's why we have worship, that's why we have the ballads, that's why we have so much of it. And I find that we forget that God is a creative. Look at how many variations of leaves there are. Look at that. Have you ever thought about that?
It's beautiful.
Look at the way the different colors of the sunset come. And we forget that God is a God of content, if I want to say that. He's a creative. And so he will continue to pour into you and give you new ways to reach a generation that sometimes will never grace a church. They will never ever get into a church. But just because you have said something to them, will start to put that spark there, and the fire will start to glow. So I just want to say to you, Ariel, I don't know where it will take you, but I'm sure you've opened the eyes of many of us and many other young women, young men who are with us this evening, that God can do something new with them. He's a creative God. It might not look the way that we might have traditionally known it to be, but God is a creative, and we must remember that He is. He
That's
is.
right.
All right. So before we go, one more video, one more video. You guys say one more, one more. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Thanks for choosing God. How may I help you? Yes, we do take prayer requests. Yes, faith without works is dead. No, I absolutely cannot do that for you. We answer prayers, sis, not personal vendettas. Child, I cannot condone that type of behavior. Your boss said what to you? Alright, look, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the next time they want to talk to you like that, you stand 10 toes down, you let them know you are a child of God and you are not to be played with, okay? Now, in the meantime, I'm going to add more grace to your package. But remember, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. He'll handle it. What you mean I'm not sure? I'm looking at him right now. See? Handled. No problem, love. Now, just stay in prayer and no need to get all dark and violent and stuff. Jesus got you. All right, bye-bye now. I'm going to still need that raise.
Wow. I just want to say thanks to you. Thank you for your content. Thank you for using that gift that God has given to you and not be afraid to use it. I pray that you'll be an encouragement to others along the journey that would say, you know what, I can do something too with what God has given to me, including here.
Yep. I'll be above.
So until we meet again, Yolanda, thank you so much for joining with us today.
Yes, as usual, it's fun.
Thanks to all of you who are with us. Like and share our video. Hit that like button, share. We are the We Rubies. This evening, our special guest was none other than Christian girl on TikTok, ARIEL FITZ-PATRIck, out of Montreal, Canada. Yes, she says, I can understand French well. Yes, you better believe that. And a big shout out to her mom, Cheryl. Good morning, good evening to you, Cheryl. And her dad, Apostle Earl FITZ-PATRIck. And of course, laying a good foundation and reaping good fruit, a good harvest from that seed that has been planted. God bless you. Walk in purpose, people. We are the Rubies, designed to shine. God bless you. Bye-bye. Every journey begins with a first step. No matter the season of life we face. Today, join us as the Rubies encourage you along life's journey, regardless of who you are, where you've been, or where you plan to go. With God's help, we are reminded that she is far above rubies. Join us on this journey today.